Alrighty, it's live time. It says yes, Tuesday. If you think the week starts on Monday, first live stream of the week. Hello. And yes, Shieldsy, water and Scotch is a good combination, definitely. And hello, Megalith. You know, you're hearing weird noises all night. It's super windy in Melbourne. And the sliding door on the other side of the kitchen, when it gets a breeze, it just sort of rattles and it sounds like someone knocking at the door. There's no one knocking at the door. It's just, it's not a wind inside, but there's air currents inside that are making the door rattle. So it sounds like someone knocking. And so, yes, it's windy. So that's a thing. We will. Shieldsy, probably water. Or something else. But, you know, probably water. Thank you, Megalith. Air pressure variances. It is also movement. There is. Because this house is not airtight, breeze does come in under the doors. So, yeah, there's going to be this knocking noise for most of this stream. I don't know how much of it the... I think I need lip balm. I can't stop looking on lips. Ugh. Who knows? It's the Rona. Maybe it's the Rona. You got down to 8. That's deadly for Queensland. And Toby's on Facebook. Hello, Toby. Yes. Well, we have relatively mild temperatures predicted for the next week. We got a severe weather warning for the wind for the next 24 hours. So the lows are between 7 and 11 and the highs are 15 to 18. So for this time of year in Melbourne, that's actually quite mild. Yes, talk about the weather. Exciting live stream stuff. Hello, Raiders. She doesn't sleep like a rock. Was it because it's cold? You snug it up? I sleep really well because of my Cpap machine these days. I was just thinking about it this morning, like when I woke up, like when the alarm went off, I went, wow, I'm sort of really awake in the mornings. I'm well rested. I'm not dragging myself out of bed going, fuck, what the fuck? You know, except maybe after a Friday night on the stream. That's different. But, and while it is actually a little more difficult to go to sleep because just having this thing on my nose and this headgear is a bit weird, and I'm very conscious of it when I'm lying there, and it takes longer to relax and fall asleep. The available evidence is the quality of my sleep is much better. So it was not like an instant overnight thing, bound out of bed the first time or even the first week of using a Cpap machine and going, yo, I'm full of life and vim and vigor and vitality. But Mrs. Angry did say quite a while ago that I was less grumpy. Apparently when I'm sleep deprived, I'm grumpy. And when I first went into the Cpap place to like get fitted for a machine, as in, you know, an office with a not very comfortable thing to lie on. It'd be flattering to call it a bed. And all these fluorescent lights on. And he said, just lie there and relax and, you know, see how that feels with this thing on. I'm like, okay. And it was 5 or 10 minutes or something lying there. And he said, like, yeah, I think you're sleep deprived because you almost fell asleep. And if you can fall asleep, like, you know, in this really inhospitable environment, a reasonably hard thing you're lying on, and bright fluorescent lights overhead, you're really fucking tired. So, yes, it's kind of like I should have got glasses at least a couple of years before I did. It's like you can just fool yourself for the longest time and go, no, the reason I can't focus on the bus thing is I just got like I got tears in my eyes. It'll clear up. Oh, it's here. I can see it now. And then you get glasses and it's like, oh, holy fuck, everything's really sharp and defined. Oh my God. And so I was like that with glasses. I should have got glasses years before I actually did. And apparently sleep was the same. I should have gotten a Cpap machine years before I did. But, better late than never. Kind of got brought to it. Not kind of. It literally specifically got brought to a head when I was getting my spit roast probes in each end for what turned out to be the false positive from my colon cancer screening test. The anaesthetist was talking to me before the things and going, do you snore much? And I went, yeah, my partner says I do. And he said, yeah, it might actually be a sleep apnea thing. We'll keep an eye on that. And I mean, the same hospital where I had the probing done also does sleep studies. So on one level, that's kind of like someone at McDonald's trying to suggestive sell you up to a large fries. But it's not like he was wrong. Mrs. Andrew complained quite a lot about my snoring. And now I don't snore because I've got this thing forcing air up my nose so I don't snore. Stella, hello. Good evening. Talking about the wonderful world of Cpap machines, because this is an exciting... We've done only 7 minutes in. We've already covered weather and breathing disorders. Don't tell me this isn't non-stop excitement, because it's just what we do. Oh, nice. Shields your air purifier helps you sleep. Well, that's good. I'm probably going to get distracted all during the night because there are occasional gusts of wind that are really loud. There's a lot of trees around here, so the wind through the trees is very loud. The microphone probably won't pick it up. Probably all the microphone will pick up is the sliding door rattling, sounding like someone's knocking. But there are quite regular gusts of wind that are really quite loud. Sleeping might be fun tonight. Might be very noisy. We'll see. And tomorrow, I suppose, like severe weather warnings tomorrow. I'm looking out those glass doors. The wooden fence at the back is overgrown with an enormous amount of ivy, which I think is very heavy, and it rocks back and forth, and I keep expecting it to come down. So that's probably what's going to be tomorrow. Alexander, hello. Yes, Stella. I saw that a little while ago. There was a recall on Philips brand Cpaps. That is not the one I have. I have the other really well-known brand. And I also, besides the fact, you're not the first one to tell me about it. You check, but I have some faith in my Cpap purveyor. They would have told me that it had been recalled. I don't think, because I have a little app on my phone. What are they called? Med something. See, I always get 100 good scores. I don't know if I've shown this before. This thing, it measures these different things, how many hours you use it, and it varies between, oh my God, the focus just went to hell, didn't it? It's because I put the phone up against the fucking webcam and confused it. Oh, shit. Will it help if I do this? That usually helps. I think that helped. I don't know. Yeah, so it's like 5 hours on a Friday night because of the live streams. Other nights is like between 7 and 9 hours sleep. But the seal is the big one because that's the one that tells you that you're wearing it properly, that it's not leaking. And you see, look, I'm going to do it again. See my little report there? That's all very good. That's all very low. And that's all very low. That's all very low. That's all very low. Oh, I'm doing so. Oh my God, look at that one. That was the night of young Mr. Angry's 21st, when I was wrangling 20-somethings till 3 a.m. and I was just fucking exhausted. And I went to bed and just put this thing on my head, lost consciousness. Mrs. Angry said it was really noisy all night because it wasn't sealed, so it was blowing air, and it just didn't register with me. I was just fucking asleep. I was dead to the world for a long time. Robot Man Greg, good evening to you, sir. So we've been released from the harshest levels of lockdown in Melbourne. Some venues will be opening. Still got to wear masks everywhere. Still can't have visitors in your home. But yeah, some venues, if they can make money with a few people in there, they'll be reopening, I guess, which is good. Shizzy, your front footpath is finally done. Oh, no, it's almost done. They put the frame in. So they're going to pour the cement in the next day or so. And your travails will finally be over. At least that particular travail. God, that's been dragging on for a while. Man. So, yeah, that's a bit of good news. I think I lived somewhere once where without much announcement, they like ripped up the footpath and it's like, what the fuck is this about? Like, oh, we had to do this. And it's like, oh, thanks for telling me, guys. Sam on Facebook, hello. Oh, your parents use Cpap machines. One night, neither of them had their connected properly. Sounded like a jet was taking off at the other end of the house. Oh, man. 2 Cpap machines not properly sealed. Oh, dear. Yeah. Mrs. Angry describes it as like a gale blowing if I don't have the thing sealed on my... Well, it doesn't even cover my nose. It sits under my nose, but it's a positive pressure thing, so it seals around my nose. I tried 4 different styles. One was like a big thing that went all the way over the nose. That was the first one I tried. And then the guy got me to try one that was these really sort of soft silicone nozzles you stick up your nostril, and that just hurt my fucking nose too much because my nose is apparently a delicate little flower. And then there was one that sits under the nose, but the sort of frame around it was hard, and that gave me broken skin on those. So they went with yet another one. There's another one that sits under my nose, but the whole thing's completely soft. It doesn't have a hard shell. That's the one I use. It's the perfect one. Still, it's healing. It's almost, you'd want to see me play with the underside of my nose, don't you? I promise I'm not picking my nose. It's just, it is still a little bit sensitive because apparently even something really super soft, like this super soft silicone it's made of, but having that held in place over your nose for 7 to 9 hours will cause or can cause irritation. In my case, it did. Apparently my nose is a delicate little petal. I should do more cocaine to toughen it up. And by more cocaine, I mean any cocaine, because I don't do cocaine, because cocaine's too expensive. My God. And I'm not even joking about that. People say, oh, you get some cocaine from a party. It's like, and then they say it's like hundreds of dollars, like $300, $400, $500. Now it's supposed to give you a good time. And I went, well, I fucking hope so. Jesus, that's too much. That's too much pressure to have a good time. Spending hundreds of dollars to have a good time. That is way too much pressure to have a good time. The idea of not having a good time after spending that much money, not on. So I just don't do it. It's not a particularly strong anti-drug message, is it? I'd do drugs if they were cheaper. Can someone make drugs cheaper? No. But they are. They're too expensive. So I don't do them. Yes, kids, wholesome messages on the Angry channel. The only downside of drugs is how expensive they are. Alcohol's cheaper, even with Australia's tax rates, which is ridiculous. the various currently illegal drugs are far less dangerous for you than alcohol is, and they cause far fewer social ills than alcohol does, but alcohol's legal. So that's what I've got. A urine sample. Reasonably hydrated person's urine sample. Shieldsy sticking with powdered sugar. Alexi Sale said once in a routine, if you want a really good approximation of doing cocaine, sandpaper the inside of your nose, then snort heaps of baby powder, and then tear up all your money. He says that's essentially the same thing as doing lots of cocaine. So as a more family-friendly joke, as someone who's into boating, into yachting, if you want to simulate having the hobby of yachting, all you need to do is stand fully clothed with a cold shower blasting into your face while you tear up all your money. So ill-advised hobbies is what we're talking about. Toby, you think Australia has the most expensive prices for illegal drugs? I haven't compared, but that would probably be because most of it's imported, I guess. I don't know. We certainly don't grow coca in Australia. Actually, you grow opium in Tasmania. So who knows? Yes, I've not seriously looked into the drug prices, but yes, I've kind of heard that too, that Australian recreational drug prices are very high. Ha! High! Get it? It said high. Oh, well, marijuana will probably be legal in a couple of years, and then I'll try edible. I'm still not going to smoke. Don't like smoking. Never smoked anything. Well, that's good. And I've never tried edibles, not properly. And like you hear all these stories in the US with their legal edibles and how you can get super fucking high really quickly from them. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't overdo anything. It's bad. I'm not recommending it, but I kind of want to try it. Kind of like a friend telling me their 18-year-old who's in while we're in lockdown, go, oh no, they've taken acid. What do I do? And I was going, what I didn't say, but it did occur to me, is like, the fuck are they scoring acid in a lockdown? Please give me their contact. Is it wrong that that's where my brain went? How the fuck are they scoring acid in lockdown? Jesus. It's one of those things. But yes, the old war on drugs, that drugs consistently win. We need a slightly more sensible approach than abolition, because we know categorically, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that doesn't work. So, I mean, what we need is decriminalization and support for people with abuse problems, which we should have anyway for alcohol, and which we do. We do have support for people with alcohol abuse problems. Certainly shouldn't treat the various currently illicit drugs as any worse than alcohol, because they're fucking not. Sorry, who's busted, Megalith? What did I say? Who's busted? Black Metal Heart. Mexico is all the proof we need. The war on drugs failed. Oh my God, drugs won so big, and it just but we saw that with prohibition of alcohol in the US in the early 20th centuries. All that did was make criminals rich. It entrenched organized crime because it made them fabulously wealthy. And that's what the war on drugs did. Made the purveyors of drugs fabulously wealthy. I mean, Sure, a bunch of them were either imprisoned or killed, but everything got fucked in the meantime. An absurd number of people were killed by the war on drugs. Far more people just had their lives fucked up by it for no good reason. It's just a ridiculous concept. It's an absolutely ridiculous concept. Stella, you've tried smoking joints because you're not a smoker. Yes. See, I'm not a smoker. I'm not going to inhale without coughing my lungs up. Aha. I love that as a thing. Your friend did the drag and kissed you to get you to inhale. Honestly, yes. And yes, Megalith, you don't want to do the family. I don't know. I'm not saying I'd do one of the Friday night streams on acid, but I'm not saying. And Black Metal Head, I think you're right that vaping is easier on the lungs because rather than carcinogenic smoke, well, it's still probably carcinogenic, but it's a vapor as opposed to smoke from burning, which it's definitely easier on the lungs. And of course, with the weed being legal in the US, you can vape weed, which honestly I'd probably get into if I was there, because it's legal. Really enjoy that. This, by the way, is a milk clarified mead cocktail called the Night's Watch. Video going live this week. Well, anyone who was on the Friday stream would have seen me drinking it because I made it on the Friday stream and drank it on the Friday stream, the unclarified version. And video goes live on Friday. What's tomorrow's video? I've already uploaded it and it's scheduled. I did the whole week's by Sunday. I love that, Stella. Yes, it did work. Both got high, shagged like rabbits. Can't say you rate the experience poorly. So it definitely sounds win-win-win. Absolutely sounds win-win-win. Oh, it's the Pisco cocktail tomorrow, which was a good cocktail too. Because it's Peru's National Day. See you, Toby. Thanks for dropping by. Tomorrow or Thursday is Peru's National Day. And so I made a cocktail with Peru's national beverage, Pisco. Maybe that's what I'll do next week, a comparison between, because I've got Chilean and Peruvian Pisco. I might make a video where I'm just making a Pisco sour, one with Chilean and one with Peruvian Pisco. That is definitely one of those drinks that each time I have a sip, I want to tell you how good it is, because it's very good. It's got a lot of even milk clarifying takes a lot of the extremes of the flavor out of things, which sometimes makes it a bit bland. It's like milk clarifying is not always good. It's always interesting. It's not always good. This one's good. So, yeah, as we established on Sunday night stream, there's no particularly notable days or anniversaries next week that I want to theme a cocktail around. So I might just do some shiz, do a Pisco comparison, maybe. Milk Punch Monday, if we're going to do a milk clarified one. It's really weird. I've been saying, I'm going to do this one for my milk clarified cordial, which I checked today and I've already done only a couple months ago, which is really weird. And I agree with you, Stella. If the cannabinoid pain relief works for fibro, you should get it. In fact, it's currently being, trialed in Victoria, medicinal marijuana. And if we look at the US, we see the path. Medicinal marijuana gets trialed, it gets approved, then everyone gets medicinal marijuana. It's a joke. It's like doctors will prescribe it for anxiety. So you go and see the prescribing doctor and go, I'm very anxious. And he goes, have a bang of this one, man. That'll calm you down. But yes, some people's pain is relieved by various cannabinoids. Not everyone. It doesn't work for everyone. Some people, it's very good though. Well, nice, Shieldsy, planning a veggie garden for spring. What's on the agenda? What veggies are we growing for spring? I have to ask Mrs. Angry what she's got planned. She's the gardener of this house. Currently got all the winter orchids coming out. So that's really spectacular. To get a whole bunch of really spectacular flowers coming out in the middle of winter and kind of brightening your day, that's pretty good. But yeah, so she's got a bunch of winter orchids flowering at the moment, which is pretty nice. But Mrs. Angry tends to do veggies and herbs and stuff as well. So I'll be interested in what she's doing. Still, it's hard to get for fiber at the moment. Stupid expensive. Cheaper to, yes, that's the ridiculous thing. It's cheaper to get illegal weed. That's why we want the trials to go ahead. We want them to get approved and then for it to be easy and legal. Because again, what happened in the US, medical marijuana gets approved. Medical marijuana is obviously being prescribed to people for purely recreational purposes. And then states start to legalize recreational marijuana and other drugs. It's ridiculous that marijuana and its derivatives are illegal because alcohol is far worse. Alcohol does far more damage to your health, causes far more societal damage. It's ridiculous. Oh, Shields, you got your water tank, your soil, gearing up. Yes. Stella, you're doing broad beans, snow peas, sugar snap peas, broccoli. Nice. Nice. Oh, physics. I moved the glass too fast and the big old thing of ice splashed drinker. Also, in case you missed, this is one of my recently purchased cocktail shirts. It's got cocktail shaker glasses. Yes, black metal heart. For a lot of people, cannabis and derivatives are good anti-nausea. It's very good for some cancer patients. Not all cancer patients. Can be pain relief. It can be anti-nausea, and it can be an appetite stimulant because a lot of cancer drugs make you sick and kill your appetite. Again, doesn't work for everyone, but no medication works for everyone. Still, you're going to bung in some beetroots for preserving, cabbages for fermenting. Nice. Nice. Yeah, Shieldsy, I don't like seaweed. See, I'm one of the reasons I'm not into sushi because I don't like seaweed. I've tried it a few times at various Asian restaurants. Not a fan. What they call it, Nori? I don't know if I'm getting it wrong, but the seaweed they use in various Asian foods. Not a fan. On the gardening front, Raiders, you've been fertilizing 1/2 acre of lawn. Good day for it. Nice. It's just tell you got weeds in your yard. Thanks, Black Metal. It is Nori. Thank you. That was Nori seaweed, yeah. I thought it was, but I'm not an expert, so I didn't want to be too confident in that. My offspring, who are very much into Asian culture, like all the fucking Zoomers are, probably have answered me all that. Stella, you use seaweed as a fertilizer? I've heard it's a good fertilizer, yes. Billy Lois, hello. How are you doing? Feel like I haven't seen you for a little while. Good morning to you. Been doing good. What are we in? We're half an hour in. Been good. We're in the gardening phase. We always go through phases of what we talk about. We normally nerd out about different things. Currently, nerding out a little about gardening. So if you have any gardening tips or something you're gardening, I'm really paranoid about the focus of the camera. I'm just opening up the controls. Switch off autofocus because it's shitting me. See, I'll go really out of focus. And man, this control is really hard to use. Okay, that feels sharper. That feels sharper. And I'll switch off autofocus so I just stay in focus. All right. All right. So Stella, your oh yeah, I've seen that brand, Sea Sol. Yes. Eases plant stress. Fish guts is a big boosting yield. Nice. Ooh, Raiders, you've got friends with horses. Horse poo works exceptionally. You can get zoo poo. You go to the zoo, and there are some zoo animals that have very positive poo in terms of fertilizer. Billy, you had a birthday party binge, birthday, buddy's wedding party, friends didn't say, oh, happy times. Happy times, my friend. Happy times. Oh, Shields, so you're getting planter boxes, clay pots? Yeah, Mrs. Angry has a mix. There's a lot of stuff in pots. Some stuff's like actually in the garden. Got one of those raised garden beds from Bunnings. So there's a whole mix of stuff here. A lot of stuff in pots, some stuff in the actual garden, and some stuff in this raised garden bed. I swear to God, even just the fucking succulents Mrs. Angry have. Wow, they were a fucking trial to move when we moved house like 4 years ago. Not looking forward to the next time we move, doing it again, moving dozens and dozens and dozens of plants. Good Lord. Oh, Billy, that was all in 3 days. Oh my God. That is just fucking cramming the parties in. Shields, you got 10 25-litre bags of cow poo. My God. My initial impulse was to say, holy shit. Holy cow shit. That seems like a lot of fertilizer. Again, because I'm not the gardener, so I don't know if that's a lot or if that's just a normal amount. Oh. Megalith, did you say weird flex? I think it's a great flex. Little Raiders, you've got a 10-litre bottle of Sea Sol, so we're on board with Sea Sol. I think Mrs. Angry probably has some of it too, because I recognise that name. So I think, there's like a joke like the stream's named after. It's Scotch Day today. I don't actually have any. I used the last of my Scotch to make a cocktail for my cocktail channel. I have a bunch of other whiskies. I have American whiskies. I have a shit ton of Australian whiskies. And I have my Infinity bottle of whiskey. That's a whole bunch of stuff mixed. Billy, you hear hippo poo's a good fertilizer. Yeah, well, the zoos here sell poo. So, yeah. Various animals in zoo poo. Stella, you got some tall planter beds, 30-centimetre high ones accessible. Jack Russell in his defence. Cushing's disease was a hunger so time, but no tomatoes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can experience them. Hello, Safa, by the way. Fuck Safa. New South Wales in lockdown forever at the moment because they're not doing it properly. And the borders in New South Wales are going to be closed for fucking ever because they're never getting this under control because they won't take the proper steps. Ooh, nice tip, Shieldsy. Veggies with cow poo, high yield crops. So, Raiders, you're saying 25-litre bag is a standard size you'd see at Bunnings. Okay, that's a big one. Okay, well, Shieldsy's fucking serious is all I'm saying. Serious. You know what I want? All the neighbors around here have citrus trees and they're all growing and I want to steal the citrus off their trees because I put it in drinks, obviously. Don't have a citrus tree here. Jealous of all the neighbors and occasionally steal stuff that when the branches go out over their fence and it can just reach up and grab them. So, Billy Lois, you have to live somewhere out in the bush to have emus attack your plants. Like the famed emu war was in the middle of nowhere in Western Australia. So, yeah. Safi saying Wagga's out of the border bottle and the Wodonga mayor couldn't go to work because he lives in Albury. Man. Well, this living on the border of places will always mess you up. Imagine living on like the border of European countries when neighboring countries go to war and you're supposed to sort of be at war at the person who lives just over there. It's ridiculous. Still, you missed A poop your dog dropped behind the orange tree. Next minute, there's a tomato plant growing out of it. Nice. The 2 plants I've accidentally grown because I was throwing a lot of kitchen waste into a compost pile in the backyard. Tomatoes and potatoes. It's just a compost pile, and I suddenly realized both tomatoes and potatoes were growing in it. So pick them and cook things with them in the kitchen. Billy, can't go to work because you're out of gas. Ooh, that sucks. Yes, Shields, yeah, I agree. If the branches go over the fence, fair game. Just grab them. Greatest king, the governor general remove GLaDOS. Ask for 7 million those. No, oh my God. She's probably the best of a bad set of options. I think the rest of the Liberal Party are even worse than her. It's ridiculous. So I think, although I don't have Scotch, there's some very good quality Australian whiskies. Make a good whiskey cocktail, I think. Don't want to get too drunk tonight, but I feel because it's Scotch Day, I should make a good Scotch. Oh, I should use the Archie Rose single malt because it's got a smoky characteristic, which is a little reminiscent of a peated Scotch. Very light though. Celtic King, hello. How you doing? And so you got self-seeded lettuce and dill growing in the lawn. Yeah, it happens. It happens. All right. So I'm just going to look up some cocktails. Cocktails and mixed drinks. Don't know why I'm singing the tequila song. I want cocktail by ingredient. Because then there'll be the different side has 20 best blah 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 cocktails. And there's some good ones in there. Candy cocktails, Calvados, marmalade, maraschino, italicus, Montenegro. Ooh, maybe a black Manhattan. Freaking love that. Amaretto, tequila, cherry brandy, cognac, Irish whiskey. Scotch whiskey. All right. Just going to quickly look. Fuck off, honestly. Okay. Scotch whiskey cocktails. The Affinity. Amaro. So that's kind of a Manhattan made with Scotch, Blood and Sand, Bobby Burns, de rigueur, grapefruit juice, honey syrup. Could make that with my grapefruit syrup. A Dramble. Ooh, a Dramble with whiskey, lemon juice, and creme de mer. Kind of tempted to do that one. Drunk Uncle. I love it when there's a good name for a cocktail. Drunk Uncle is an excellent name for a cocktail. Fumigator, Heather Julep, A Journey of Brothers, a London. Why is that called a London Sour? Naughty Charles. That's a fun name for a cocktail too. Rob Roy, Scotch Sour, Velvet Old Fashioned. Whiskey Mac. I reckon I'm going to do a version of a Dramble. A Scotch Bramble. Yeah, so 2 shots whiskey. Fuck the lemon juice. I'm going to do my Oleosacrum syrup. Billy Lois. Oh man, if you love whiskey, just go on the Difford's site, Difford's Guide. They have Gutso. Okay, so Billy Lois. Want to make an Australian-made liquor that's good? Okay, if you're talking whiskies, Starwood, which is a Melbourne whiskey, Archie Rose, which is a Sydney distillery. Another Melbourne one, The Gospel, do a really good rye whiskey. Of course, the Lark Distillery in Tasmania is very famous as well. I am going to make a dramble with the Archie Rose one because it's the most like a Scotch because it's got a smoky element. Oh, Megalith, my best. Oh, see, best is hard. Look forward to the time when sometime soon, sometime in the next couple of weeks, Kirsten and I are going to do a taste off. We're going to blind taste 5 or 6 whiskies, see if we can tell which one is which, and rate our favorite. My tip for Australians at the moment is look and see if your local Coles bottle shop, Liquorland, has Starward Nova single malt at $20 off, because not all, but a lot of Liquorlands have, until stocks sell out, Nova at $20 off, which is a great deal, really good deal. I literally bought a couple bottles. Bribed Abigail with one. Oh, yes. Oh, fuck yes, Stella. We're both on the Starward mailing list. One coming up soon, a limited edition Starward release. They've aged it in Isla Scotch barrels, so it's picked up some of that peated flavor. Man, the day that's available, if you're on the mailing list for Starward, you get early access. I am abso-fucking-lutely getting that one. Raiders, I mentioned Europe before. Some parts of Germany won't be restored for 12 months. Oh my God, did you see the videos and the photos of the floods in Germany? Those were just catastrophic. There was that one thing of that really picturesque town that looked like a tourist town with these really old buildings, and the street down the middle was this raging torrent of a river, and it looked like the tray from a dump truck, which is several tons of metal just being thrown down this street like it was a fucking twig. Oh my God. That stuff was just wild. Billy Lewis, what's the first you've heard of? And also, I forgot where you live as well. Do you mean the floods in Germany? Dude, look it up. If you missed it, look up Germany floods. The photos and videos are mind-blowing. Just these catastrophic floods in Germany. Oh my God. That was so full on. And yes, Safa, there were some really devastating floods in China as well. Oh my God. But the German floods were wild. All right, I'm going to make a dramble. So, my version thereof, which involves Archie Rose single malt, made from 6 malts, actually. Ding! Oh, I thought that might have been AIDSy. It is my offspring. Just got to... I had to tell we're getting a fucking real estate agent inspection tomorrow, even though there's all these restrictions. And I emailed them and said, surely it's cancelled. And they went, no, we're allowed to. So I told my offspring, you've got to clean up their room. And so I'm getting messages of consternation, essentially. What do I want? I want this. My oldie Saccharum. And I want my creme de mer. Which one's creme de mer? What's that one? That's Groselle. I got all these really good liqueurs. I'm just going to get the right one. What's this one? This one's almost gone. What's that? That's Cassis. Where's the creme de mer? Seriously, where is it? Where is it? Is that it? Here's the thing, when you got so many bottles, you can lose track of them. No, that is Groselle. Oh shit, what's that one? Is that it? Oh God, yeah, creme de mer. is one of my older ones because it's got the fucking glass top. This stopper is really annoying. Billy, you live in New York. Politics to be desired. Oh, geez. Oh, dear. No, it's not AIDSy. It was actually my offspring saying, why do I have to clean up my room? Aren't they supposed to give me more notice? Okay, so, Dramble. Oh, I don't have my freaking jigger. All right. Got my jigger. Okay. Okay, so 2 shots of whiskey. My God, this one's nice. Jesus Christ. They do good fucking work at Archie Rose. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Archie Rose and do 30 mils. Okay, I'm going to do 30 mils. This is going to be really sweet. 30 mils of my oleo saccharum. I'm going to do 15 mils of creme de menthe. Almost run out. Blackberry liqueur. There's a local distillery, as in literally just up the road, Marionette, that do really good fruit liqueurs. I've got 4 of their liqueurs. They make more than that, but I've got 4 of them. They do a blue curacao. It's like blue curacao, but good. I might get that at some point. All right. Stir, stir, stir. Rather than using Gaz Regan's finger, using my own finger. Safa, well, look, if Archie Rose or Starwood want to sponsor, or Marionette for that matter, want to sponsor the stream, I'm all for it. But Kirsten was saying they've got a whole bunch of special releases coming out before the end of the year at Archie Rose, so I'll be keeping my eye on that. Billy, 6:46 a.m. for you. You're up early. Oh, God, no. Geez, don't be going shot for shot with me at 6:46 a.m. I should say, I literally got like a month's notice about this inspection, but I thought they'd cancel it because of the fucking restrictions, but they didn't. They reckon they're allowed to come around. And I was like, fucking whatever. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, that's good. Oh, my God. Where'd I put the stopper for that bottle, though? Come on, I'm not that drunk. How can I lose the stopper? This is ridiculous. Why can't I see the stopper? It must be here somewhere. Oh, my God. What's wrong with me? How? Oh, no, it's... it's on the bottle. Okay, maybe. I'm going to try. Yeah, this is incredibly sweet because sugar syrup and blackberry liqueur and whiskey. Oh my God, that's really good. Oh, yes. Safa, this stream could be sponsored by Archie Rose. The Archie Rose single malt, really fucking good. Really fucking good. Yes, if you're not familiar with the term single malt, what that means is all of the whiskey in the malt was brewed in the one distillery. When you see blended whiskies, they actually get barrels from that. They swap the they swap between distilleries. It's like, oh yeah, okay, so we bottled up our single malts. We've still got all these barrels or part barrels and they sell and swap between distilleries, and the distillers do blends that happen, and then there's blended whiskeys. But it's not from one barrel. This one is made from 6 different basically 6 different malts they had in the one distillery, Archie Rose, one of which was peated, apparently. So say a single malt whiskey is distinctly crafted to highlight 6 malts, each with a unique profile and regional character. Single malt whiskies typically feature 1 or 2 malt mash bills. Our 6 malt mash bills produce an extremely low-yielding spirit, small sacrifice for a rich and expressive flavour. Matured predominantly in Australian Apera sherry casks, each toasted and charred to complement the richness of our spirit, the palate reveals notes of sticky date, pudding, citrus fruit, and amaretto, with a final note of espresso. So yeah, this, I think, sold out like the first day it was available, the single malt. But I was on the mailing list, so I got in early. It's very good. It's very good. But you do get, these days, people being sort of hyper specialized, particularly with whiskies, but not limited to whiskies. They'll do it with rums as well. You'll sometimes see stuff where they talk about it being single barrel, and that literally means it's a really limited run. It's one barrel, and some of these barrels can hold hundreds of liters. And it's going, so it's each one is like from the same barrel, so it's really unique, really limited run. This is 46% alcohol. That's a decent kick, actually. It's not cask strength, because cask strength tends to be high 50s to 60s or even 70%, depending. Like I got a single barrel from the Melbourne distiller Gospel, one of their ryes, which is a single barrel, and they didn't dilute it at all. So I'm just going to double check. What percentage is that? Yeah, it's 57%. So the Gospel single barrel rye is 57%. And your average whiskey at the commercial level is 40%. Billy, oh man, it's probably too expensive to get Australian liquors. But look, New York, you are going to, in New York State and surrounding states, there are going to be some incredibly interesting independent distillers. And you definitely want to get on their mailing list. You want to find out who your local distillers are, like within your own state and in neighboring states. Find out the independent distillers, because they just do fucking amazing things, quite honestly. Just say she has the athletes show how many Olympians can fit into an anti-sex bed before it breaks. It's a news item tonight. Oh my God. That's pretty funny. Because it's traditional in the Olympics that athletes fuck each other's brains out. Billy Lewis, I did not see. Do you mean the Australian mascots for the upcoming Brisbane Olympics? Because I did not see them. Let me. I'll search Australian mascot Olympics. That's the 2000 Olympics. The mascot. Yes, Matilda from the Commonwealth Games. I didn't think any Australian mascot had been unveiled yet. It's not showing up on a quick search anyway. Stella, cast strength will put hair on your genitals, not front season drinkers. West on most people. Hide your cast strength because he'll be, yeah. Oh my God, no, you don't put Coke in cask strength. Maybe make an old fashioned with cask strength. Or no, I'd do a Manhattan with cask strength as well, actually. I would cask strength, I would either do on ice or an old fashioned or a Manhattan. Honestly, probably also a whiskey sour with a cask strength whiskey. Pretty goddamn good, honestly. But with special whiskies, try to keep it comparatively simple. My God, even with the really like the sweet liqueur and sugar syrup in this one, that smoky note from the Archie Rose single malt is still coming through. It's very good. Very good. Big hat tip to the Archie Rose people. Oh, I after the discussion the other night about getting Australian rum, I did order a white rum from the Victorian distiller Jimmy Rum, which will probably be here. If not for Thursday night stream, I think it'll be here for Friday night stream. But we'll see. But when I get that, because that's a white rum, then I'll have about 4 or 5 white rums, rum derivatives, rum cousins over there. So I think I'll do a comparison test between my white cane spirits and give tasting notes of the differences between them. Also, get drunk while doing it. But Shieldsy, yeah, for Queensland Olympics, croc and a kangaroo. I reckon a croc as a mascot would be fucking awesome. I remember when I was in, this was a very long time ago, I had a holiday in Darwin and went on the Jumping Crocodiles tour. And they had a fun mascot. I'll see if I can find it. Jumping Crocodile Cruise. jumpingcrocodile.com.au, which sounds cheesy AF, but I found absolutely amazing. And really worth it. But they had a fun mascot at the place. And I can't find it. A mere $45 for the Jumping Crocodile Cruise. And I tell you one thing, the Jumping Crocodile Cruise puts in your head, don't fall in the fucking river, man, because you are gone. You are gone for all money if these fuckers get you. And there are 2 interesting ones on the Jumping Crocodile Cruise, because what they do, they basically trained these crocodiles to know when this boat comes, we'll put a bit of meat on a pole out of the river and we'll suspend it above the river, and you should jump up and get it. So you get the younger crocodiles that, what are they? They're probably like 2 meters from snout to tip of tail, maybe between 2 and 3 meters. And they're kind of slender looking. And watching them, they do this weird fucking swimming motion up out of the water, and they can launch their entire bodies out of the water. Like you actually see just like the tip of their tail touching the water. They're that strong, they can launch themselves vertically completely out of the water. And then you get the big fuckers, the 4, 5, 6 meter crocodiles that are fucking dinosaurs, and they're huge. And because they're so big, they only get about half their body out of the water, but because they're so fucking huge, it's really intense when they come up. It sounds really cheesy, but it's amazing. Megalith, you think I need an Infinity White rum bottle? I'm this close to having an Infinity rum bottle, actually. I'm thinking of it. But the white rums, I want to do a comparison because there's some very different ones. I don't know that I'll do an Infinity White rum. I'll probably do an Infinity rum bottle, though. Oh, Shieldsy, yes. Bin chickens, potential mascot, definitely. Raiders, you've been in the Ballarat Wildlife Park live feeding crocs on Instagram. It was fascinating. Oh, that was the other thing in Darwin, because they have crocodile farms. The crocodiles are farmed for meat and leather. and they just have an absurd number of crocodiles in these fucking pools. That's pretty full on. And I did like they had like their crocodile museum. There's one. There had been this rumor for years, if not decades, of this scary monster croc in the estuaries around Darwin, and fishermen had stories of this huge, like 6-7 meter croc, so 20 to 25-foot croc, right? And someone finally caught this fucker, and its skull is in this museum. And I'm like, shitting you not, its skull is so big. It's fucking huge. And you see all these little divots in its skull, and it's pointed out those are bullet impact points. And it was so big, and its skull was so thick, it had been shot in the head half a dozen times, and none of those bullets had actually penetrated its skull. It had made little divots in its skull, but they hadn't penetrated. So this thing had been monstering fishermen for decades, and someone finally killed it. And yeah, when they killed them, they got its skull. You just see all these signs of various people having shot it or stabbed it in the head with the harpoon. Oh my God, it's so freaky. Stella, you did a tour on the Adelaide River, beached the boat and had a 6-meter croc come up beside it, and fucking things. They're big. The big ones, the 6-7 meter crocs, are terrifying. They are these living dinosaurs, and their heads are so big. They're terrifying. Yes, sweetheart. Stella, you know who I'm talking about. The nickname for this terrifying giant crocodile was Sweetheart. Yes, that's the one. Sorry, I'm getting super excited about disturbingly large crocodiles because it's good. I haven't been to Darwin in 25 years. I don't know. I'd like to go back. It's a great fucking spot for a holiday. Bit humid, bit stinky, but, good all the same. And yeah, when you go to the market in Darwin, the food trucks have all the exotic meats. I'm trying to think, what are all the exotic meats? Crocodile, obviously, kangaroo, emu, water buffalo, camel. I'm trying to think, there were all these exotic meats from things that are fucking running around. I think it was possibly those 5. Might have been those 5. Crocodile, emu, kangaroo, water buffalo, and camel. And you get kebabs with mixed meat on them. It's really, properly prepared crocodile I might have liked. I got crocodile from a fucking food truck and it was really rubbery. But properly prepared, it might be good. But kangaroo's too gamey for me. I'm with you, Shilzy. Emu is not bad. Very lean. And I think the camel and the water buffalo is okay. Oh, yeah. Stella, that's a fair call. You love Darwin. People are insane, but in a good way, not a Queensland way. It's different. And also because it's so warm all year, you get people who are probably on the run from somewhere else who choose to live and sleep in the open, rough. They're known as long grassers in Darwin because they live in the long grass. Yeah, a bit weird. Shieldsy, emu pie. I've not had. Last time I had kangaroo, I thought it was too gamey. Kangaroo is very lean, very red meat, very gamey. Last time I had it, I didn't like it. The taste was too strong. But my palate's changed over the years. Maybe I'd like it now. I don't know. At some point, I'll try it again. If only you could go back in time and stop European settlers from fucking bringing cattle here and just getting no, work with the local people. For fuck's sake, work with the local people. Eat kangaroo and emu and other shit, okay? Don't destroy the fucking environment with sheep and cattle and horses. Shieldsy, I think that's difficult to argue with. You're saying Queensland has the best beaches in Australia? I think that's difficult to argue with. Depends what you like in a beach, but combination of some good surf, warm weather, white sand. There are some very good beaches in Queensland. Look, as parochial as I am, fucking Victoria is too cold to talk about. How I like the surf coast out past Geelong, but it's fucking cold, man. And I went to Tasmania, which I loved, and there was a particular beach that Lonely Planet rated as one of the best beaches in the world. But that must have been purely on visual things, because the water was this amazing blue. The sand was amazingly white. And around the edges was these rocks that had a lot of iron in them. So they were very red because the rust, the iron oxide. But it was fucking freezing. You can't swim there. And that's a big part of the beach. Whereas in Queensland, you can swim there. But this particular beach visually was stunning. But it was too fucking cold to swim. Megalith, you reckon our coat of arms should be an emu and roux kebab? I mean, yeah. Anyone who's old enough might remember the Leyland brothers, who did all these travel around Australia pseudo documentaries, sort of like 70s and into the 80s. They were huge, the Leyland brothers. And I remember them doing a thing where they were at a restaurant that had a dish called the coat of arms. And it was emu and kangaroo. I think it was Christian. Raiders, I think it was Wineglass Bay. I think you're correct. It was Wineglass Bay. Visually, stunningly beautiful beach, but the water's too fucking cold. And for me, best beach means one you can swim at. So, yeah. And, yeah, Stella, you're right. Surfies, once you get like Bells and around the surf coast, surfies, that's some of the best surfing in Australia. But, yes, visually, Tasmania has really pretty beaches. And yeah, Shieldy, but yeah, for me, just like who wants to play in the water, maybe do a bit of body surfing, I think it's hard to argue with Queensland because it's warmer. It's just warmer. It's just pleasant. Safa, did the Leyland brothers have a falling out? I don't know. Dude, I don't know. There was a period in my youth where they were everywhere and then they went away. So I don't know. Still, Lancelin. Where is Lancelin? I assume we're still talking beaches. I love that our conversation just jumps. Now we're on beaches. That's a fun conversation topic, honestly. And because like living in Melbourne, I love the Bay. I think the Bay is great. It's a stretch to call them beaches, like St Kilda Beach. Like, okay, technically it's sand and seawater. So technically that's a beach. But for me, beaches are the ones where it's open ocean, not a bay. That's just me. But I do like the Bay. I like Port Phillip Bay. I like going all around it. It's great. But if you want to press me, I prefer to go out past Geelong to the surf coast. Shay on Twitch. Hello. Okay. So Lancellin's in WA. Okay. I am not at all familiar with WA, but I bet WA's got some great beaches. So when you go, because it's, oh my God, the coast of WA is so long. That is so many, 1,000 kilometers. I bet there's some great beaches there. Safi, you almost drowned in Surfer's Paradise. Oh, that's bad. If you don't like waves, South Bank's good. No. Shay on Twitch, you love drinking. Oh my God. I don't know where you're coming from with that, but I love it. You love drinking the seawater from Port Phillip. Tastes fantastic. Boil it with the sand. Don't know where you're coming from that, but on board. So still, you're the child of the 60s surfy, so inclined to surf beaches. I like open ocean surf beaches, definitely. So for talking about medalists, you're saying an Aussie got bronze in surfing. There's that great bit of video, the Australian, she got gold medal, I think, in backstroke. And she's doing the standard talk, doing the post-swim talk. She's wearing a mask, and she's still sort of breathing hard because she's just wiped herself out getting a gold medal. And she's saying all the stuff you expect a gold medalist to say. And the guy says, like, "Oh, do you have anything special to say to your family about the win?" And she leaned into the microphone and went, "Fuck yeah!" And then she went, "Oh, shit," which is the best recovery from swearing. When you accidentally say "fuck yeah" on a live news stream, the best recovery is to go, "Oh shit." She is a legend. She's an absolute legend. Oh, yes, I grew up inland, so beaches were a huge treat to me. Shieldsy, that's a good tip. Don't swim on the Gold Coast. Rips are too strong. Yeah. Probably have to search for the good beaches in Queensland. And yes, after that, the Aussie coach going crazy. He was pretty funny. The poor Olympic worker, the Japanese woman who's trying to go, "Dude, maybe calm down a bit. What the fuck? What drugs are you on? What the fuck?" Well, Megalith, nice. You've always lived walking distance to a beach. Nice. Yeah, just growing up inland, beaches were this huge luxury to me. We go on one annual holiday to the coast, and that was this huge indulgent treat to me as a kid. Spending a couple of weeks on the coast at beaches. As usually, you're telling us Mooloolaba and Noosa as the big beaches that are the safest ones to swim. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I spent 10 years in Sydney. Often used to go to the eastern suburbs beaches because they're proper beaches, Coogee and Tamarama and Bondi. It was always funny, though, in summer. There's a period with a certain group of friends. We used to go to the Coogee Bay Hotel a lot. So it's like Coogee Beach Road, Coogee Bay Hotel. And you get all these Brit backpackers there. And in the middle of summer, like in this brutal heat, you could tell all the Aussies would be huddled under the umbrellas, under the shade to get out of this brutal fucking sun. And all the Poms would be standing out in the sun with no shirt on, like, yeah, sunshine. And we'd be hiding in the shade going, yeah, you're going to get an awesome souvenir of Australia. Skin cancer, you fucking weirdos. You're going to wake up tomorrow with third-degree burns. You will be in so much pain. What the fuck is wrong with you? Safa, Manly's a real beach. Manly is an open ocean surf beach. All through but the northern beaches were out in the peninsula. That took so long to get to. I had a friend who lived in what was the beaches further up the peninsula than Manly? All right, now I want to look it up. Now I've got to look it up because I remember he lived off Barrenjoey Road. I'm going to open up Google Maps. Get Manly on the map. I used to enjoy getting the ferry across to Manly, actually. All right, so Manly Beach, and if we keep going north, Curl, yeah, that's a famous surf beach. DY, yep, that's a famous one. Collaroy, yes. Narrabeen, he lived near Narrabeen. Yeah, my friend lived near Narrabeen. So that's a bit north. And then you keep going, you get to Mona Vale. Oh, no. He was Newport. Sorry. Barrenjoey Road into Newport. Sorry, I kept going up the map. My memory's really bad. My friend lived near Newport Beach. But that was the fuck. That took so long to get to fucking Newport Beach. So far out there. Bit past that is Avalon Beach. And then Palm Beach, where the really fucking really fucking rich people lived. But yeah, I would occasionally go out to Newport because I had a friend who lived out there. And that's a fair bit north of Manly, because you go, Shelley Beach was nice. Shelley Beach was a little bit south of Manly. Shelley Beach was quite nice. Your Manly Beach, and then further north is Curl. Past that is DY. Past that is Collaroy. Then there's Narrabeen. Then there's Mona Vale. Then there's Newport. And then there's Avalon. And then there's Whale. Oh, Whale Beach was actually pretty good. Whale Beach and then Palm Beach, where all the rich fuckers lived. That's a weird bit of trivia, Safa. I love it. The first Macca's opened at Yagoonga. She goes, you're worried about rips. There's a rip in the eastern suburbs beaches. Trying to remember which beach it went to. There's kind of like if you're, I think if you're at the beaches that were before Bondi, like Coogee and Tamarama, if you got caught in the rip, we'd call it the Bondi Express. If you got caught in this rip, instead of fighting it, you were better off swimming with it and going around the head and then coming into Bondi Beach because it was a really strong rip. So black metal, not nice worrying about needles. Yes. Oh my God. What's that? Still, your least favorite beach is St Kilda. No surf poses or filthy pigs littering the beach. Black metal, it's not so much needles, but really irresponsible people who leave glass and cans on St Kilda Beach, because I used to live down there. And it was really, super annoying young people living up to the stereotype of being irresponsible and just leaving all their shit on the beach. And there was a New Year's Eve. God, when was it? Like 10 years ago? But it was like still 40 Celsius at midnight. It was this fucking awful New Year's Eve. It was oppressive. And St Kilda Beach was full of drunken fucking idiots all night because it was like so hot all through the night. And they were cunts. They were fucked. And just broke all this glass. We as locals were finding broken glass in the sand 6-8 months later. It was fucking shit. It was really bad. Lorianda, hello. Hello. So, yeah, I forget when it was, but it was about 10 years ago that it was like a heat wave, and it was high 30s to 40 Celsius at midnight on New Year's Eve. And the drunken fucks on St Kilda Beach ruined it for everyone because they just had all their booze and they were drunk and they're breaking glass and leaving it on the beach. We were finding big, nasty bits of glass. And they put tractors on the beach for months. Tractors with a big sort of rake implement dragging through to pick up glass from the beach. And they did that for months. But we were still finding big, nasty pieces of glass in the beach for like 8 months. It fucking sucked. Lorianda, I'm well. Don't know here. But keep Shieldsy happy. I'm gonna drink some water. That's probably enough. This glass holds a lot of water. Even though it's Scotch day, so I had a whiskey cocktail. It wasn't Scotch, but it was whiskey. Oh, God, the fucking stove's making its buzzing noise, which you probably can't hear, but annoys the shit out of me. So I'm just going to go over here for a few seconds because I'm going to change the clock on the stove so it stops. It's very strange. It'll take 2, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. It's so annoying. Oh, But now it's stop. Oh God, Loriander, what have we been talking about? Currently, we're talking about beaches, but we have covered 50 topics in the lead up to talking about beaches. But currently, we're talking about beaches. She goes, "You're a farm kid, 30 minutes from the sea." Oh, you need Coolum. Okay, cool. I haven't been to St Kilda Beach for a while because I moved out like Caulfield ways, fair bit away, but it's nice. So you think it's about 40 degrees a day. You were there, so disgusting. You didn't even go to the beach. Can't walk on the beach even in winter Tasmania. It's that big thing where the beaches are so hot that the sand burns your feet. So Loriander, both. Honestly, beaches or bitches. We could talk about both. Basically, there's no limits to what we talk about. Safa, I don't think there are cameras on St Kilda Beach, actually. There's probably surveillance cameras around St Kilda. I've not been there for a while, actually. And there's some stuff down there I like. No, but I used to live in East St Kilda, so particularly when my offspring were young'uns, they wanted to go to the beach. We would go to the beach a lot because they liked it. They wanted to go and splash around and play in the sand, and so we would do it a lot. It was always funny. The first really warm weekend of spring, the beach would be fucking swamped because people go, yes, it's the first good weather. And that would normally happen in August or maybe September. Basically, the first weekend that was warm, St Kilda Beach would get fucking swamped. And then you would get another one around March to April because you still get quite warm weather occasionally in March or April. And if you got a weekend that was warm, like high 20s or even into the 30s, in late March or into April, St Kilda Beach would be absolutely swamped because it'd be people going, yeah, this is probably the last weekend before winter. Fuck yeah. And it would just be absolutely swamped. So yeah. Still, you've been swimming in the Southern Ocean in winter. Takes a lot to stop you going to the beach. That is pretty dedicated. That is pretty dedicated, swimming in the Southern Ocean in winter, because there is nothing between Australia and Antarctica. So the Southern Ocean in winter, very fucking cold because nothing between us and Antarctica. So Black Metal, your first beach trip after moving to sunny coast. Oh, slice your foot on the SS Dickie's shipwreck. Good fun and stitches. God damn. That's fucking nasty. That is fucking nasty. Oh, that's not good at all. So, yeah. Oof, beaches, man. I remember when I was a teenager, I suppose, one of my family holidays on the coast of New South Wales, went to a place we'd never been to before, and I sort of went around the headland of this beach, and it was really difficult, and it took me hours, and I got around to another beach, and I thought, now I'm fucking miles away from it, and I don't want to climb over all these rocks again. And I knew there was a road going between the beaches, and so I was walking back along the road, and then my dad was driving along and picked me up, and apparently my mum had been freaking out because no one had seen you. And when you're a teenager, you're self-absorbed in your own fucking world and you don't think about anyone else. But yeah, I disappeared at a surf beach, which was a little bit rough, for literally hours. So my mum was freaking out, as thought I'd drowned at sea, had been swept out to sea. And just because I'd gone on this fucking walk and not told anyone, and I'd been gone for hours. And it's just like, yeah, no, when you're a teenager, you're just wrapped up in your own head. You don't think about what anyone else is thinking. Sorry, are you channeling Anakin Skywalker from the Star Wars prequels there with sand gets everywhere? So you reckon you'd live in the ocean? Maybe you're a mermaid. but you get motion sickness on boats. Now, you want to live in the ocean, not on a boat. You don't want to live on a boat. You want to live. You're a mermaid. Clearly, what you're saying is you're a mermaid. So that's now established. That's established live stream law. Stella, you're a mermaid. I don't make the rules. Technically, I make the rules. So you're a mermaid. And that's okay. Mermaids are interesting. They're not like Ariel. They're like also, luring sailors to their deaths and that sort of thing. But yes, you'll take it, Stella. Nice. Stella is the official live stream mermaid. And I think everyone would be on board with that, quite honestly. So, Dunzo. I'm trying to think what boring shit going. I think beaches is probably one of the more interesting topics. I got to go in the city for a dentist appointment on Thursday. They called me today saying, coming in for an appointment. I'm going, okay, that's still on. You're open. Then you'll be on. Your restrictions leave. Okay, going in for a dentist appointment on Thursday. Okay. Loriander, sirens lure sailors onto the rocks, but mermaids make sailors fall in love with them and then drag them down into the deeps. Sirens lure ships onto the rocks. Mermaids make sailors fall in love with them and then drag them down into the deep and eat them. So similar, but different. Oh yeah, so of course, fucking Disney is doing a live action Little Mermaid. They're doing all sorts of weird shit. And you're right, yeah, Stella, sirens sing people to their death. You can't sing. Mermaids lure people to their death with their sexiness, and we've all seen the photo of you in the mask. That would absolutely work. And yeah, Black Metal Heart, the fucking Disney nostalgia money chain. It's basically they're milking millennials who watch the animated Disney films as kids. They're milking them with CGI remakes as adults. Going like, yeah, I'm going to make my kids watch this because I watched the animated version when I was a kid. So, oh shit! Yes, Raiders. That movie. Oh shit! That Australian movie Sirens that had Elle Macpherson in it. That was a dramatization of Norman Lindsay's fucking sex thing up in the Blue Mountains. Man, I visited the Norman Lindsay Gallery in the Blue Mountains, and that's wild because it's a mix of children's illustrations Norman Lindsay did, plus the nudes, as in Norman Lindsay illustrating kids' books, also definitely doing lots of drugs and fucking nude models. Absolutely having orgies up in the Blue Mountains. No two ways about it. Black Metal, you reckon the Mulan live action failed? I haven't seen it. I have not watched any of those CG remakes. And I friggin' loved the Mulan animated movie, actually. Came out when my offspring were young'uns, and I had a soft spot for it. Just like being a dad trying to encourage your offspring and be strong. To me, the bit that always brings a tear to my eye when Mulan fucked up at the matchmaking thing and she thought her father would be disappointed, and her father just obliquely said, look at this. This blossom is the last of the season, but I think it will be the most beautiful. Because he's basically saying to Mulan, you know what? It didn't work for you today, but you'll get there. And just being a dad trying to raise offspring with positive self-images, that always got me. That was really good. Yeah, still, I agree. I think the remakes are going to be disappointing. Some of the original animation, I've still never seen Beauty and the Beast. Actually, I've seen bits of Beauty and the Beast, but I've never sat through it. Mulan, I was a huge fan of. Safi, you reckon Mulan was the best of the dodgy live action ones? So, Loranda, if Disney changed The Little Mermaid into a horror without telling the audience and she'd kill a lot of men instead, if she was the classical mermaid that puts on this face to entice the sailors and then is actually a carnivorous monster that drags them down. And yes, Stella, you are right. The original Little Mermaid story, much darker than the Disney version. Because all the Disney classics are old stories. Mulan's an old Chinese story. Beauty and the Beast is an old story. Little Mermaid's an old story. Cinderella's an old story. All the Disney stories are recreations of old stories. Oh, yes, Black Metal Heart, Tim Burton's Little Mermaid. I'd probably watch that, quite honestly. Tim Burton's Little Mermaid. I'd probably be right into that, to be fair. Big fan of the Night Before Christmas and The Corpse Bride. I like both of those. The stop motion ones, they're pretty good. Is that true, Black Metal Heart? Chinese found Disney and Mulan insulting, didn't do as well as they wanted in China. Ooh, there you go. Safa, did they make Mickey Mouse? Good question. Or did Walt Disney knock someone off? Who knows? Who knows indeed? And yes, Stella, you're right. All the fairy tales had dark elements before they were Disney-fied. I remember my older sister had a series of books, and it was old English fairy tales, old German fairy tales, old French fairy, and you read them, and there's stories you recognize, but these old versions of the stories are like dark as fuck. They're basically these morality stories for children of do what your parents tell you or you will be killed horribly. They're all the original versions of like Snow White and Cinderella and all these stories are dark as fuck. Loriander, who wrote Little Mermaid, was it a Hans Christian Andersen story? I know it was a Scandinavian story. Can't remember for sure. I have this vague thing it might have been Hans Christian Andersen, but I know The Little Mermaid. Oh, it was Hans Christian Andersen. I know The Little Mermaid was a Scandinavian story. Yeah. Danish. There you go. Black Metal. The best part of Mulan was Disney thanking the CCP for filming where they have internment camp for Uyghurs. Oh my God. Oh, that's fucking dark. Oh yeah! Oh my God! Safa, the early versions of Little Red Riding Hood were really dark, and yes, Stella, the old Brothers Grimm stories were very dark. I've not watched that because that's like 20 years old. The Brother Grimm movie with Matt Damon. I still haven't watched that. I think someone actually gave it to me on disc, and I never watched it. Oh, Loranda, your grandfather's was named H.C. Anderson. Nice. Very nice. I think, one of my favorite writers is Neil Gaiman, most famous for the Sandman comics, and he's had a couple things recently adapted for TV, American Gods and Good Omens. I got into him back in the 90s when he's writing the Sandman comics. But he's written a shit ton over the decades. I always forget how old I am. Like Neil Gaiman's been writing for 30 years. Fuck. Okay. So he's done a few dark versions of fairy tales. There's what was his Cinderella called? Something like the Spinner and something. But he did a really good sort of dark short story version of Snow White called snow glass apples. If you look that up, you can probably find it online. But it's a really good short story version of Snow White done in a very dark way, very, very dark and fucked up. And it's a good story. It's worth looking up. I won't do any spoilers. And yes, Safa Gaiman wrote a couple of Doctor Who episodes. He did The Doctor's Wife, when the TARDIS actually gets turned into a woman, and he did Nightmare in Silver, which was a Cyberman story, where he actually tried to explore, because the Cybermen were always kind of the same and slow moving, but he's going like, if they're really computer stuff, they would improve at like Moore's law rates. They would keep getting better and more dangerous. And so his Cybermen in Nightmare in Silver were like terrifyingly dangerous. And the only, if you got into conflict with these Cybermen, the only strategy to take is like, if you didn't defeat them straight away, you had to detonate weapons that destroyed entire solar systems just to stop them. Because they had, like computers, they had continued to improve and get more deadly at an exponential rate. And so if you couldn't stop them straight away, you basically had to detonate a weapon that took out an entire solar system to stop them. So, yeah. Oh, Loriander, I am absolutely with you. Blink is probably one of my all-time favorite Doctor Who episodes, and is probably the one that has the least of the Doctor in it. Because he's just there on the DVD, extra features. What was her name? Sally Sparrow. Duck Sally Sparrow. Right now. I want that on a t-shirt, like ripped wallpaper saying Duck Sally Sparrow. It's very good. But yes, that initial introduction of the weeping angels was good. And yes, Stafford, that's the first time he says, most people think time's a straight line, but it's more of a wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey sort of thing. And the best callback to that was in the 50th anniversary one, where they had John Hurt as the war doctor, the hard as nails guy who's been in the Time War. And when he meets Matt Smith and Dave Tennant, and Matt Smith actually says the timey-wimey thing, and John Hurt goes, timey-wimey? What's wrong with you? And David Tennant, who's the one who's actually invented it, goes, I don't know what's wrong with him. That was one of all the jokes in Doctor Who. That's possibly my favorite. That the guy who's actually responsible for coming up with the ridiculous timey-wimey line blames the other one and says there's something wrong with him. I don't know why he says that. What's the time? 9:30. I'm a little bit more water. If I drink too much water before bedtime, I'll probably have to get up in the middle of the night, which I don't want to do. But being hydrated is good, especially when I'm talking all this time. Well, Mimsy's come in. She thinks we're talking about her, or that she's missing out on something. Now she's just looking at the floor, wondering if we dropped any food she can eat. Yes, black metal. I agree. John Hurt was a great actor. Yeah, and it's sad he's passed, but everyone dies. Safa. Apparently, there was some negotiation with Eccleston to be in the 50th anniversary special, and he was basically like, well, if these people are working on it, I'll work on it with them. If it's these people, I don't like them, and I'm not going to work with them. And it was the people he didn't like who were making it. So he went, yep, sorry, I'm not going to be in it. Well, I still think the best surprise was the basically like the Doctor Who short film. Was about a 15-minute one, which was the teaser lead into it, whereas someone who's stuck in the time war and their crew's dead or dying and they're about to crash and they're calling a mayday and they're going, I need a doctor. I need a doctor. And of course, you think that's when the doctor's going to appear. And he does, but it's Paul McGann from the 90s TV movie Doctor Who. And this person's going, I need a doctor. I need a doctor. And the door opens and Paul McGann comes in and he goes, I'm the doctor, but maybe not the one you were expecting, which was, fan service. That was so good. Because they kept that secret. I didn't even hear a whisper of that. And for Paul McGann to suddenly appear and say, I'm a doctor, but probably not the one you were expecting, that was fucking amazing. And that little mini episode, that was really good. Where it established how and why the war doctor existed. But yeah, just his opening line, I'm a doctor, but probably not the one you were expecting. Oh my God, that was so fucking good. That was so good. So kudos to the people who put that together, because that was pretty goddamn clever, honestly. Oh, Loranda's got a hot topic for us. Oh, okay, yes. What do we think of a second season of Good Omens? Okay, we've got a hardcore nerd for this. So, Good Omens was a book written by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett, famous for the Discworld books. It was written about 20 years ago. Terry Pratchett died a few years ago. The Good Omens show finally got made, and it was very good. It was very good. But it covered everything that's in the book Good Omens. And then quite recently, they announced there was going to be a second season of Good Omens. And it's like, oh, God, that sounds dodgy. But then Neil Gaiman came out with the secret information, goes, oh, Terry Pratchett and I had actually plotted a sequel to Good Omens. And this is way back in the day. We had always planned for the Good Omens story to continue. So the first thing I heard when there was going to be a second season of Good Omens, I was like, ugh. And then I was like, okay, Neil Gaiman's involved, so okay, maybe. And then Neil Gaiman came out and said, no, Terry and I had actually completely plotted a sequel to Good Omens. And basically, we've nutted it all out. And it's like, we're doing season 2 of Good Omens, so I'm up for it. Also, on the Neil Gaiman front, they completed 3 seasons of American Gods, and I think it's been dumped. Someone else might pick it up, but I think that's possibly the last we've seen of American Gods, and they never finished the story. But Neil Gaiman did write a book that was a kind of sort of sequel to American Gods. It was a story about a side character in American Gods, the Caribbean spider god, Mr. Nancy, and he was in this TV series as well. And the book was called Anansi Boys, and it's basically about the Caribbean diaspora in the UK. And yeah, so it's like one week Neil Gaiman announced there's going to be season 2 of Good Omens. A week or two later, he announces, oh, I've inked the deal. We're doing Anansi Boys. And Anansi Boys is hilarious. It is so, like, American Gods is very serious. And yes, Stella, there was Orlando Jones, who was Mr. Nancy in American Gods, is pretty sure he got dumped because the showrunners didn't like the whole angry black man thing. So I don't know if Orlando Jones will come back in Anansi Boys. But I know the showrunners denied they really dumped Orlando Jones because they didn't like the angry black man thing. Neil Gaiman, in the public statements I saw, was like, I don't have any control over that, and I really like Orlando Jones. But now Anansi Boys is coming, and American Gods is very heavy, dark, serious. Anansi Boys is just hilarious. Anansi Boys is very funny. And yes, Stella, we need to see Tennant and Sheen kiss. I'm with you. That's what has to happen in Good Omens. PCR 88. Hello. I never watched Jessica Jones, Loriander, but I heard a lot of people say they really like Tennant as the bad guy in Jessica Jones. Haven't seen it myself. A lot of stuff Tennant's done that I haven't seen, actually. He's done a bunch of those crime things for the UK, which I haven't watched. Not that big into those UK crime things. But yes, I've heard a lot of people say he was good in Jessica Jones. Nobody. Greetings and cell mutations to you, sir. Yes, I've heard he's scary. Ah, yes. Still, if Orlando Jones doesn't come back in a Nancy Boys, you're right. He was very good. He was an angry Caribbean spider god telling the slaves who'd been transported to America what they had to fucking do and rise up. For those who are completely unfamiliar with either the book or the TV series American Gods, the central premise of it, and this is something Gaiman's had in a couple of his stories, and for that matter, Terry Pratchett had in a couple of his stories, is basically in terms of religions, deities, theologies, so it's basically like if people believe something, it's true. And the more people believe, the stronger the deity they have created with their belief is. So if there's a deity that only has a small believers, they're like a small god. But if there's a deity that is the head of a major religion on a continent, they're a big god. They're very powerful. And what American Gods is about is because America became like the diaspora of the world settled in North America. And so essentially versions or echoes of just an enormous number of gods exist in North America. And in the world of American Gods, these gods walk the earth because people believe or believed in them in the past. So versions of them exist all across North America because people believed in them. There was a very funny bit in the TV show where it centers around the god of Asgard. God, I keep wanting to say Thor. It's not Thor. It's Thor's dad. Oh, my fucking brain has stopped. Mr. Wednesday. Odin. Woden, yes. So Odin is a central character. And there was Odin's going around trying to rally the old gods to fight. The new gods are all media and technology. The new gods are embodiments of media and technology, and they are growing in power because everyone in the modern world worships media, celebrity, and technology. And the old gods are losing power. And Odin is trying to rally the old gods to fight the new gods. And there's one bit where he goes to a party and all the different Jesuses are there. Because the different people who believe Jesus see them as himself. So there's white Jesus and black Jesus and Asian Jesus and Hispanic Jesus. It's hilarious. And it's basically because anything someone believes in is made real by their belief. Yes, Mr. Wednesday in American Gods is great because Wednesday is Odin's day, Woden's day. So when he introduces himself to the central character, Shadow Moon, and just calls himself Mr. Wednesday, that's because he's Odin. Wednesday's named after him. And yeah, the different Jesuses in American Gods was fucking hilarious because they're all there. Everyone's version of Jesus was there. That's the thing. If Jesus existed as an historical personage, he would either be North African or Arabic. He'd either be black or brown. But because what people believe is what manifests. So in American Gods, there's a white Jesus and a black Jesus and a brown Jesus and an Asian Jesus, a Hispanic Jesus. because people imagine Jesus as themselves, essentially. Oh, yes, all the different names are great. Stella Grimney. I love when you see a character, a new character getting introduced in American Gods, you're going, well, who the fuck is this? And yeah, when you research the old legends, you go, oh, no, that's actually legit. That was in this particular belief system. That's who this godlike character was, and this was the characteristics of that thing. And oh yeah, no, that's completely legit. And there's Russian gods, and there's Norse gods, and there's the Christian gods, and there's the Eastern gods. They're all there. They're all there. There's the Celtic earth gods, goddesses, all those things. They're all there. It was interesting. They did big reveals. There were 3 seasons. Big reveal at the end of season 1. I don't really want to spoil it, but it was super obvious. I don't think it was funny because I read the book. Yes, Safa, American Gods is on Prime Video. Yes. I read the book when it came out 20 years ago, but I had forgotten the big reveal at the end of season 2. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I should have remembered that. It's just been 20 years since I read the book and I don't remember it. And I thought season 3 was gearing up to another big reveal, mainly Odin's big nemesis, the leader of the new gods, was known as Mr. World, who could change a lot. In fact, sometimes Mr. World presented female. And I think there's 3 different actors played Mr. World. Mr. World presented in different things. First was the tall, skinny dude who's been in stuff forever. I've forgotten his name. Then it was a black woman. And then it was, the Mexican actor, Denny Trejo was Mr. World for a while. So basically, Mr. World could manifest in different ways. And about 3/4 of, or more than that, through season 3, I worked out who Mr. World actually was. Because who the fuck is Mr. World? All the other new gods. Thank you, Stella. Crispin Glover, tall, skinny guy who's been in stuff forever. He's the main actor who plays Mr. World. But there was also a black woman, and also Denny Trejo played Mr. World for a couple episodes, because Mr. World is a shape changer, can be different. And all the other new gods made sense. There was media and new media and technology boy and all these things. It's like, what the fuck is Mr. World? And it was like 3/4 or more of the way through season 3, I finally worked out who Mr. World was. I thought, God, I should have remembered that from the book as well. Again, no spoilers, no one say it. Although it hasn't been revealed yet, because it wasn't. I thought the big reveal was season 1 was about Mr. Wednesday. Big reveal season 2 was about Shadow Moon, who's the main character. I thought there was going to be a big reveal at the end of season 3 about Mr. World, and there wasn't. It was kind of an anticlimax. Shadow Moon trying to save Odin. And now we might not get any more. So, but it was kind of like, yeah, there was a particular line Mr. World said about, it was basically about being a shape changer. And like penny finally dropped in my head. That's who Mr. World is. Okay, cool. But we might not get any more American Gods, but it's impossible to tell. With all the streaming services now, sometimes when shows get dumped, like The Expanse, it gets picked up by someone else. Like whoever made the first 2 or 3 seasons of The Expanse dumped it, and then Amazon picked it up, did seasons 4 and 5, and are going to do a final season 6, I think. Tazzy on Twitch, hello, you're lurking. Well, I'm lurking for 5 more minutes while you play GTA 5. So every time someone mentions GTA 5, I think I want to go back and play GTA 5 again. That was a fun game. Possible, but still probably. Oh, it's a toss up. What were the most fun games? Red Dead Redemption 2 and Zelda Breath of the Wild were probably the two most fun open world games I played in the last 10 years. That's right, Safa. Netflix did the first couple seasons of The Expanse, then they dumped it and Prime picked it up. Tazzy, you play on a role-playing system. I've read about the role-playing stuff with GTA 5. I don't do the online stuff because I feel like it's dependent on the most toxic person playing. I just rather play on my own. Blackmail, I still haven't done Witcher 3. Mrs. Angry played Witcher 3. So I've got Witcher 3 out there. I could play it. I still haven't played it. I'll have to play it at some point. I don't game very often, honestly. I'll go through binges of gaming. So I went through this thing where I played a bunch of open world games. I played GTA 5. I played Breath of the Wild. I played Mafia 3. I played Yakuza 0. And it's weird. Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Loriander, Pablo Schreiber in American Gods playing the tall leprechaun. And it was just funny. He's a leprechaun and he's 6'5". It's hilarious. But he's very good. He is very good. He had some of the best scenes. Absolutely. Pablo Schreiber had some, and he's generally very good when you see him in The Wire, or he's been in a bunch of shit over the years, but he was very good in American Gods. Stella, are you correct that Michelle Yeoh would be in season 2 of The Witcher? I hope so. I fucking love Michelle Yeoh ever since Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And how long ago was that? 10, 20 years ago? That's right. Actually, Megalith, you're right. It was Sci-Fi in the US who actually commissioned the Expanse. It was on Netflix in Australia, but then Netflix in Australia, but then onto Prime. Now I just want to look up, because I want to know, what year did Crouching Tiger? 2000. That's a 20-year-old film. Holy God. That was when oh my God, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was when I fell in love with Michelle Yeoh. And that beautiful speech that Chow Yun-Fat has when he's been poisoned, and she's saying, like, preserve your strength. And he's going, like, I've wasted my life essentially not telling you I love you. I'm not going to waste my last breath by not letting you know what my real feelings are. And I was like, oh my God, I did not expect, this was just like a martial arts wackadoo film. I did not expect to have all the feels at the end of it. Safra, I think you mean Mando season 3, because Mando season 2 exists. Where you might fucking going? Okay, I can't remember because I only like I said, Mrs. Angry played Witcher 3. I haven't. We watched a couple of episodes of the Witcher TV series and then got distracted. I don't know. We didn't watch it. Might watch it all at some point. Oh, yes, Stella, Dead Wife and the Tall Leprechaun. Their dynamic was so good. So good. And when you actually got the Tall Leprechaun's backstory, that he's one of the old Celtic kings and he's trying to resist the Christian invasion of Ireland. And he only lives on, and people have this twisted memory of the wee folk who will look after them. But he was never small. He was also always this massive, imposing king. But yes, very good. Very, very, very good. Pablo Schreiber in American Gods. Everyone. And what's that guy? That guy who always plays Russians. And he's playing that really violent Russian god with the big hammer. He's always good as well. And he's always in movies playing a Russian or a German or an Austrian or whatever. And yes, that's him, Stella. Peter Stormare. Peter Stormare is he's good in anything. He's okay, Lorianda. He's actually Swedish. Yeah, because I didn't think he was German or Russian, but they always cast him in movies as a German or a Russian or something. He's so good, and he plays the very violent Russian god who has a giant hammer that he caves people's heads in with. And he's always, because he's the Russian god, he's always drunk, he's always drinking vodka. Chernobog, thank you. I knew it was something bog. I knew someone would throw it in. Chernobog, very, very, very violent Russian god. Very funny stuff. All right. Okay. I love this. This was a classic stream. We've done everything from weather to mythology and beaches in the middle. I think this was the epitome of one of our live streams with just looking covering multiple completely unrelated things. Oh yeah, Stella, he's line in Armageddon. Russian components, American components, no difference. All made in Taiwan. And he miraculously fixes it by hitting it with a wrench. He's funny. He's just funny. Peter Stormare, he's fucking, and when he's one of the nihilists in Big Lebowski, he's just great. He's very good. Yes, Blackheart in we believe in nothing, Lebowski. Sorry, now we're all the Peter Stormare fan club. That's a great way to finish because it's bedtime. Gonna go to bed. I have a bunch of stupid meetings for work tomorrow, so I need to be slightly alert. So I'll go to bed and I'll put on my Cpap machine, and I'll be really invigorated in the morning. So I won't be on tomorrow night. I'm going to be watching In Treatment with Mrs. Angry. We're watching old shows. And we're like halfway through season 1 of In Treatment. We're watching, and I'm really enjoying it. It's only a half-hour episode, so it's really intense. It's like an hour drama that gets crammed into 30 minutes. It's really intense. I love it. But I'll probably be back on Thursday and Friday. And I think Saturday? It's not a date night on Saturday. So we'll have freaking party nights. You still want to come back and cut off your Johnson. Oh my God. Okay, so take care, everyone. As I said, won't be on tomorrow night, probably on Thursday. So have